Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
And we got some stuff to talk about tonight.
Yes.
Real quick, just a heads up to everybody. Text-to-speech is now enabled for donations on Twitch. So if you use bits to be able to make a post, then in the chat, then it will be read live on stream by whatever bot it is that's on there. I think it's like Todd or Russell or something like that. It's the default guy voice. So that's channel points. Quack is always good. I'm talking about bits. Those cost money. Because we're gonna be talking about a thing tonight that it might cut into some of the money when we talk about it on the YouTube side. So hey, all Patreon supporters, all Twitch donators and Twitch members, all YouTube members and super chats, all those are welcome and thanked. Thank you so much. But follows also, because even though it doesn't cost you anything to follow, that does raise us up in the searchability and subs on YouTube. So we appreciate all of that stuff. I mean, if you want to go ahead and like the video, you probably should. It would help. And then just go ahead and double check you're not subbed already, because you probably are. Or might not be. But anyway, now that all the YouTube and Twitch stuff's out of the way, we got some fun stuff and some not so fun stuff to talk about tonight. But I'm hoping that the fun stuff raises us up above the unfun stuff.
Okay. Try to balance it out.
That,
or actually, not balance it. Actually, try to turn it back the other way.
Right.
Yes, let's see.
But before that, of course, we have weeks. How's your week been, Rungren?
It hasn't been too bad. I haven't. I'm kind of tired. Did a little bit of cleaning. Did some stuff. I went through. Did play a little more Skyrim. That's my right now. That's my. I'm going to play a little bit more of that before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Type thing. Yeah. Play a couple hours of that.
Don't blame you.
Get lost in that world. Of course, we had the. We did run chickens Monday. That was me and you.
Yeah.
The chicken run. We got a few more of those coming. We're gonna go through.
Want that cloak?
I have got to. I need to change some strings on a couple of guitars, and I don't want to do it.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm lazy. But they need to be done. They're starting to get some rust spots on them. I have strings, so
yeah,
that's not too bad. I did get a song out Sunday.
Yeah.
I gotta get it. I can get something ready for this Sunday coming up, which hopefully sometime tomorrow evening I'll try to shoot a video or make a video or do something.
Right.
Make something visually with it. And let's see. Man, we played D&D. We had a pretty good D&D game.
Yeah.
It's kind of a one of those bridge things. It's like, all right, we got to complete this thing out and go. But I'm trying to think of anything else that came up this week. I don't think there has. I've been pretty much taking care of the house and the kids while the girlfriend's been going to work.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of a slow week. I don't have a whole lot. It has been a slow week. I'll put it that way.
I got you.
As far as news goes. How about your week, sir?
My week's been weird. I've still been playing Guild Wars 2, of course. I've still been working my way through that. I got my Elementalist to 80. Using that new adventure guide, made a short about that, and been having a good time there. I'm working on my Mesmer now, got that at 62, and then I'll have one of every class at max. Still all the elite specs and learning how to play them actually at that level and everything, but pretty happy with that. And then I'll get back into the story content that I was doing. I had a pretty funny situation this week where somebody asked my opinion on a thing that happens after the last big story beat that I did a video on, Heart of Thorns, the first expansion, and I realized that I'd recorded all the footage for that and just never released that video, so I went back and did that. That went up today.
A little late, right?
It's a busy time over here in the editing machine, and then I spent like 7 hours on that Gundam video that came out. The ranking the Gundam OP video, that was so much more work than I thought it was going to be. Mostly because, okay, I'm going to rant on this for a second.
Okay, go for it.
if you want to watch Gundam OPs, right? You put them into YouTube like you do everything else. I put in Kamen Rider OPs on YouTube. I have them all.
Okay.
I put in Super Sentai OPs. I have them all. They're all uploaded by different channels. Doesn't matter. I have them all, right? I put in Gundam OPs. Gundam Info has some of the shows on there. And so they've copywritten the OPs when people uploaded them. And so it's like, okay, well, I can at least just pull up the episode and watch the OP in the episode and then stop it in the middle of this video. So I did that.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll had streaming rights to some of them, no longer has them on their site, but still has them on their channel for the OP, so I could watch those there.
Okay.
Funimation, same way. So I could watch those OPs on their channel. But some of them weren't on YouTube, weren't on Crunchyroll, weren't on Funimation, and I had to find backdoor sites to watch episodes, sometimes getting completely incorrect files. There were 2 shows that I just could not watch the OPs for at all because they don't exist.
Oh, no. Okay.
Or the versions that exist are the English versions that don't have OPs.
Oh, no. Well, yeah.
I did find out in the course of this that the reason why I remembered Zeta Gundam having an OP is because the sub version does, and the release we got over here does not. It's the same OP, it just doesn't have a song. It has no lyrics. It's just the music.
Okay. Fair enough.
But, you know, that video took like 6 hours total to make, and crashed premiere about 7 times. Even on this beast of a machine, crashed premiere about 7 times. But pretty happy with that video turned out. You know, it's got about 7 views. You know, it's doing good. Did you miss a Pokemon discussion? Not so far. We have not talked about the new Pokemon yet. I guess we mentioned him last week, but we didn't really get into big information about him because there's supposed to be, this is a rumor going around right now. There's supposed to be a Pokemon Direct coming in this next month in about 3 days. So we'll see if that's actually true or not. And if it is, there'll be some Cycloxor stuff there, I believe is his name. But that's why we haven't had like a dedicated video to it. But no, yeah, that was the Gundam video. That was fun. And I did enjoy making it. It just was interesting.
Right.
Thanks for that super sticker, Joel. Appreciate that. That is a very cute little puppo, a Shiba.
Nice.
Twitter posted images of another new Pokemon, like today. Missed that completely if they did. I knew about Cycloxor, but
Well, they say images, so I'm wondering if they put out a few.
so I'm trying to search for it. The problem is there's a bunch of different official Pokemon Twitter accounts. There's the Pokemon account, then there's Pokemon TCG, then there's... Let's see. Oh, the cryptid photos. I saw they had some of those for the Ultra Beast. I didn't know they'd posted some new Pokemon in there too. Welcome back, Will.
Will.
See here.
You find them? Do you see them?
I found what I believe to be the video that Jewel is referencing, and it is the Ultra Beast from Sun and Moon, and some from Ultra Sun and Moon, and those are really cool Pokemon. And oh, sorry, everybody, for your ears. It unmuted the video when I clicked on it again. The way that they shot it is like a horror movie almost. Posted on official today at 9. Today at 9 o'clock.
Hey.
See anything for today at 9.
I don't
Rough.
know.
I is that the Pokemon? Oh, you even sent me just 4 seconds ago. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So don't get a good shot of this Pokemon. Let me bring this on screen here where people can see it.
Like I can see it from here.
We don't really get a good shot of it, but it is a start to a brand new Pokemon. That's cool. That's breaking news for everybody. I missed that completely somehow. I still have the Gundam tag up on screen, so it looks like we're talking about Gundam right now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Want to know more about that Pokemon? Grafai. Grafai? How would you say it quickly? Grafai? Grafea?
yeah.
It looks to me like a graffiti Pokemon, right? That's the reference. That's the point, I assume, by the fact that it's doing like the colored poles and stuff. But yeah, that seems cool. I'm excited to play those games. And I Pokemon, yeah, for sure. I huh? The other thing that I've still been doing my week is playing SD Gundam Battle Alliance.
Oh, yes.
And man, I'm so torn on this game right now because I really do like it. It's really fun. I love the character interactions. There's a moment where Jim Gingham from Turn A Gundam declares that he's in the Turn X, and he declares that he is piloting the Burning Gundam from G Gundam, and your character immediately assumes, well, this must be Domon Kashu then, because they haven't met Domon Kashu yet. And then later on, he says, actually, it was a lie. And it's like, everybody's all shocked. It's like, yeah, no, that's Jim Gingham. That's for sure. That's Jim Gingham. It's just a really funny little moment. But, man, this game's so weird.
Well, you talked a little bit about you enjoying the game, but it was grindy.
Yeah. So, you unlock these cool new suits, right? I unlocked the Turn X, and I'm all excited about it. But it's level 1, and my Freedom Gundam's level 27. And you may say, well, just level it up, Trey. Just level it up. Well, it costs capital to level up suits. It's an animal Pokemon. That makes sense.
Freedom Gundam must be an American. That's cool.
It costs capital, which you earn from playing missions. And if I do a run of a mission, for instance, I get barely enough, if enough, basically, to level up my Freedom again from 27 to 28. Or I could spend that on that Turn X, leveling it up to like level 7, right?
Yeah.
But I still then can't use the Turn X in my current missions because those missions are level 30 missions.
Yeah.
And I'm barely scraping by with my Freedom.
So you pick one. You got to pick one Gundam and go.
Pretty much.
Pick one number suit and stick with it, huh?
Pretty much. And the problem is, because each suit has like a different style of play, man, do you remember so we're far enough into Zeta Gundam. We'll talk a little bit of spoilers of Zeta Gundam. Do you remember how the Hyakushiki has that like special coating?
Yeah, for the blasters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there are other suits in this game that have that, which means your beam weapons aren't as effective. The suit that I'm using, the Freedom, uses a lot of beam weapons and has some decent melee, which means that when I'm up against those, I have to use a different suit.
Yeah.
So it means I have to level a different suit. And so I have 2 suits that are coating, as in to put on a coat. So I have to have 2 suits roughly at that level, right? Which means that I have to just replay levels to get the money to be able to upgrade my second suit to that level. But then you have the problem of when you're in melee with bosses, they don't get staggered by most attacks, which means that you hit them with your melee attack and they hit you with their melee attack and they do a lot more damage than you do to them.
I'm not better at it.
So it really, because like I'm using the Exia for my melee because it can hit and then I can dash back and then do a backflip slash that's pretty cool. And then I can dash out again and backflip slash. And I'm sure you can see where this is going.
Flash?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also some units that render beam effects basically worthless. And then there are some enemy mobile armors that can fly and make it almost impossible to hit them with melee. So you kind of have to have one of both. Yeah, it takes an incredible amount of capital to get from level 1 to level 30. And it just feels like a really weird design decision of, you know, hey, get these cool suits that you want to use, and then, hey, but you can't really use them unless you just grind.
Yeah.
then, and obviously I'm going to get more into it when I've beaten the game, because I don't know if when I get to the end, if I'm going to get some part that gives me a bunch more capital every time I do a run, you know?
Yeah.
But your AI partners are kind of garbage. They will pick you up, but the problem is they will both come to pick you up, and if you're down, the boss will focus on one of them, and if they're both on top of you trying to pick you up and not making it go faster by both being there, then the boss is just attacking them, and then you're not getting picked up. And if they die while you're down, you lose the mission, and you don't get any of your parts or blueprints. 30 to 50 is 1.4 million. Ugh.
What a jump.
Yeah.
The first 30 levels
Yeah.
cost what? About a sixth? No, yeah. Seventh of the next 20.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's expensive. And I think on the whole, the combat's still worth it, right? This is a game that I will go back to and keep playing over time just for, hey, I like to play with these cool suits, especially when they add DLC and like, hey, now there's this suit or this suit. But then it comes to the third problem I have, which is that the demo has, you remember the Zaku, of course, right? And the demo has a Zaku and a GM. No Zaku, boy. And the demo has a Dom that you get early on.
Yeah.
And so the demo makes you believe, hey, you're going to get to play a lot of cool grunt suits, right? There are no grunt suits after that. It's all ace units after that. I guess technically you can get a GM sniper, but like you're not getting, I can't play as a Leo or a Virgo. I can't play as at guy or something like that. You know, it's just, hey, you can play as the main suits and you can play as a couple specific offsuits. But I still really like the game. And so where I'm at right now is like this weird middle ground of, this is a really fun game that I really like, but I'm also really bummed out by.
Fair enough.
So
Fair enough. They've come. There's been a few games that have kind of had, like, there's a game I love, but it's got the first Total War.
Yeah.
Shogun Total War.
Yeah.
Love that game. Was really kind of basic. I mean, you do get some advanced groups and stuff, but a lot of it you end up doing the same thing over and over again because that's the way to do it. You pick one path. You know, you don't have multiple things to build.
I wish, because there's a partner mechanic. Here's how, if I got to armchair dev, here's how I'd fix this, right? I'd increase the amount of capital you get by 15% for every run. It's not a huge amount more. You're still going to have to grind, but it does, like, there's reasons to grind anyway, right? Because you get more blueprints, stuff like that. But it makes it more effective when you grind. I would reduce the amount that it takes to level suits by half, just a sheer half cut for the entire 50 level range. That 1.4 million is now 7 million to get from 30 to 50. You know what I mean?
700,000.
700,000. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Phew. Cut that in half, and then I would make it where with that. This is armchair stuff where you don't have to add anything really, right? You don't have to add extra content. I'm not saying add more suits. The final thing I would do is make it where if I have a partner unit play as that suit and they level up that suit's leveled up. Because it still had to make it through the mission to get there.
Yeah.
Instead of just being leveled up for them. And I think that would fix all of it.
Yeah. That would be. I like the last part of that. Just because you get a bonus for that makes it worth partnering up.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't seem like it is. I know. Of course,
that's tough.
Like you said, that's armchair develop, deving. Something to go apart when we got home, found his goldfish dead. Ugh.
That's tough.
Right?
That's tough. Hey, your goldfish forgot how to swim. Don't actually tell a child that. That's a terrible thing to tell a child. But no.
He's sleeping before his trip.
Right. He's going on a long journey. Needed a nap. But yeah, then finally for my week, I've been reading Marshall Peak, which I've talked about before, but it's been a while.
Okay.
It has gotten. I originally heard that it had finished, but now there are still new chapters coming out. So I don't know if it's finished and there's an epilogue or if it's just getting close to its end. But it is a really long-running manhwa series of wuxia, basically, with the martial Tao and trying to reach the pinnacle of strength and cultivation and everything. It's a really weird story in a lot of ways. The main character is 100% a wuxia protagonist. He's, hey, if you are good to me, I will be good to you, but if you threaten me in any way, you court death, and I will find 1,000 chances to enact my revenge, you know? He is super overpowered and is constantly picking up new abilities. But what I like about it is that most of the time he gets the abilities by absolute chance or because he did something no one else was willing to do. Right? So instead of it just being like, hey, he woke up with this power or he suddenly knew how to do this new thing, it's, hey, there's this cool rock at this auction and I have the extra money to buy it. I'm going to buy it. Why not? It might wind up being useful one day. Oh, this rock had this super secret ability that lets me do this. Oh, that's cool. How could I have known?
You have all the luck.
Yeah. But it's also really like fun. There are just so many moments of it is wuxia to its core, right? Very recently, he got caught up with a group that was way too strong for him to fight, so he wound up having to be their servant for a little while. And the group fought a 9th order magical beast, a purple shelled flame stinging scorpion. Purple shelled flame stinging lash tailed scorpion. And it was like, yeah, that's wuxia. That's wuxia right there. You haven't had your partners pick you up? You haven't had them both come to pick you up? I've had that happen so many times. But yeah, it's a fun series. There was I don't want to spoil too much for people. There's a really cool thing that happens about halfway through, I guess you could say, where characters go, hey, what if the world that we're in right now is not all there is? And this main character goes, hey, this thing that I'm on lets me fly, and now I don't need to breathe anymore. What happens if I just fly up? And then suddenly there's so much more going on than you ever could have imagined, because turns out they're on a planet.
Hey, they got through the noob levels.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Now they're in the open world, open universe.
So it's pretty cool. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It definitely could be better to its female characters. Although some of them are really cool. It definitely could be better to its side characters. It feels a lot of time like side characters only exist to make the main character look cool because it's wuxia. But I do think that when it comes down to it, it is probably like sometimes you don't want to read the best written like character writing. You don't want to sit down and read Lord of the Rings every day, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to read something that has all the heart in the world and just executes it really weird every time. Like, I don't know how better to say this other than at one point he goes into like a little, it's ad time.
Ad time. I'm gonna say you got. I'm glad it scratched that itch for you.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a part of me that's considering taking this ad time to run for a quick bathroom break, but I don't think that's going to work. I've never had to do that in the middle. Well, not never, but it's been a long time, but I really need to go right now. But it's fine. Ad break's probably over by now, and YouTube knows that I had to go, so it's fine.
Yeah.
At
30 seconds.
Right, that's not enough time. At one point, the main character winds up Yankai. He winds up going into like this mysterious small world. Might as well be. I'm describing things close to correct, but a little bit off, right? They call extra dimensions mysterious small worlds. And he goes into this like mysterious small world that is a land of heat and fire, and it's so hot that most people can't use any of their flying stuff. They can't use their space shuttles. They can't use any of that stuff to get around because it's too hot for that stuff to be able to focus. But because he's the main character, Yankai has a set of wings that were completely worthless up until this point because he could move faster than the wings could move without him. But here in this place where the wings can move, they allow him to run really fast across the ground. And it's Look, if you enjoy a series that goes, hey, you remember that thing that Yankai picked up 1,100 chapters ago and was completely worthless then? Yeah, you can use it now.
Finally figured out what we're gonna do. So let me get this straight. People can't touch their steering wheels
Yeah,
because it's too hot, but
Right.
he's faster here.
yeah.
Okay.
And I know people will call me out because they're like, but Trey, you get mad at trashy isekai all the time. But I genuinely think Yankai is a good character, right? I think he's a well-written character. It's just that the series wants you to make sure you know he's the main character at all times.
Yeah.
So
No, this guy.
once you get the blueprints for later mobile suits they sell for a lot, well, that's good. That's a good way to balance it out. I just wish that you got more capital early on. There's suits I want to use, and I can't. I guess I could.
Can't afford them.
Just grind them out. But yeah, that's pretty much been my week. Some stressful
Right on.
stuff and then some good stuff, and that's how it goes.
Right on, sir.
So let's get into reviews.
All right.
And we're gonna start off with SD Gundam Battle Alliance.
I think you're biased.
Maybe a little.
All right. What do we got? You've been talking about that one for a couple of days, so a couple of podcasts. We should know what that is,
Pull up the ice cream.
right?
I would think
Right.
so. I would think at this point people would know. This is a just for anybody who doesn't. This is a arcade style hack and slash, I guess you could say, with SD versions of Gundams. You don't get loot drops as much as you get parts drops that can then be applied to your mobile suit after the mission. You have a limited number of revives if you go down, and heals are the same as revives. It's the same resource for both. So you have to be really careful with your fighting. But you can play as a bunch of different mobile suits, and you have 2 AI partner units to help you fight against enemy mobile suits and mobile armors from all across the series. What do you think the critic average score is going to be for SD Gundam Battle Alliance?
I'm gonna go 83.
Okay. Level 80 is the cap. What do you think, chat?
What is the review score?
70, 75 plus? You can't use a plus. That's cheating. No plus. There we go. There we go.
So 70, 75. I got an 83. I don't know. I was kind of torn out. I don't know how they're gonna take it because it's an SD.
The score is 73.
Oh,
So you're all
man.
right around it.
Yes.
Let me read some reviews for you here. Outer Haven Productions says SD Gundam Battle Alliance is a love letter to Gundam fans, full of recognizable characters, Gundams, and serves as a history lesson for newcomers and veterans.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty good review.
Then we have Twinfinite, who says SD Gundam Battle Alliance is a game for Gundam fans, but actual knowledge of the series isn't wholly important to your enjoyment. If you just want some great action RPG gameplay featuring some of the best mechs ever introduced in anime, this game has you covered. The array of available Gundam to choose from will keep you replaying missions just to find the one suit perfect for you.
Okay.
And then RPG Site says Art Dink's first Gundam game in a decade is surprisingly a challenge as a purely solo experience, and playing with others may make this action RPG shine despite its handful of flaws. But I do have one more for you.
Okay.
PC Invasion says, with eternally stagnant, overly repetitive combat with subpar lock-on to boring tiny levels, SD Gundam Battle Alliance is a substantial step down from the quality of Art Dink's PSP classics.
Wow. That was rude.
It's a little harsh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna move my score up to 76 for the recommended.
Okay.
I think they'll give it a little push on the recommended.
What do you think, chat?
The reviews didn't sound like a 73, but
Right.
see. 71. Okay. I'm down.
Said we could go, and the score is 50%.
Oh. How do you feel about that? Or do you feel betrayed?
I think it's a little low. I think I can understand a 60 with how repetitive the game can get. For sure, I could understand that. I think if it was easier to use more suits, I think that, hey, maybe people would be a little bit more kind to it then. But I could understand a 60, but 50, like, there's a lot of care put into this game. I didn't really talk about it in my section earlier for my week, but when I do the full review for it, I'm going to mention how the levels are painstakingly crafted to represent the areas they come out of in the worlds. You can even see in one wing mission, you can see Sank Kingdom off to the side, and it's fully modeled out, even though you don't go there in that mission. There's no they could have just put a JPEG there in the distance, and you would have still been fine with it. But you can see it fully modeled out. There's so much care put into the suits and making them look right. I just feel like 50 is an unfair score for how much work was put into this game.
All right. I got feelings about this next one.
I'm sure you do. Next up, we have TMNT, the Cowabunga Collection.
Okay. All right. What does this entail?
So, for anybody who's forgotten, Cowabunga Collection. Let me get the full list up here to make sure I don't say anything wrong. It is a bunch of TMNT games. This is the arcade version of TMNT, the arcade version of Turtles in Time, the NES version of TMNT, the NES version of TMNT 2, the arcade game, the NES version of TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project, the NES version of Tournament Fighters, the SNES version of Turtles in Time, the SNES version of Tournament Fighters, the Genesis version of Hyperstone Heist, the Genesis version of Tournament Fighters, the Game Boy version of Fall of the Foot Clan, the Game Boy version of Back from the Sewers, and the Game Boy version of Radical Rescue.
Okay. So it covers the arcade, the NES, and the Game Boy.
And the SNES and the Genesis.
It's SNES and Genesis. All right, I'm going to go 80.
Oh, we got to hydrate. You going 80? We'll push the button while I hydrate. Show these crazy good skills.
We're going to do that. Yeah, 80, got 86, 78.
Score is 81.
Oh, all right. I'm pretty close.
Let me read some reviews. There was one review that stood out among the rest, not just for the score, but from the way it's read, and I'm gonna read that one to you first. Okay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection is a must-play title for retro game lovers or turtle fans. Having not the turtles, just turtle fans. If you like turtles, you got to play this game.
Yeah, I like turtles.
Having all these games from all the different consoles in one collection is amazing. So much easier than pulling out and hooking up all the systems. And this is my question to you. Is that a thing you do? You pull out your SNES and your NES and your Genesis and an arcade cabinet and a Game Boy. You don't just emulate them all.
If you have it, you do it.
I guess so. It just feels like the most surface level review of, like, no offense to this outlet. But just like, that's why I didn't say their name. But just like, hey, you can do this without having to hook up all the consoles. Like, yeah, isn't that every collection that does what?
Yeah.
You're just always plugged in at all times.
Change the RCA slot.
Yeah. Next up, I have Push Square that says, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection is a great package. While not every game is a winner, and a lot of them are variants of other games in the collection, there are still lots here to love. It brings two of the most beloved beat-em-ups in history to modern platforms, and is host to some hidden gems like Radical Rescue. This is all polished up with a host of great enhancements and the fantastic Turtle Lair Gallery, which, for any TMNT fan, may be worth the price of admission alone.
Okay.
I got one more here for you, which is from the Daily Star. And if you remember Daily Star reviews, we have some highlights from them, like standing out in the rain.
You like on the rain. Waiting for the transport.
Yeah. This is a must-buy for any Ninja Turtles fan looking for a retro gaming kick to add to their collection. Those less interested in a 90s classic cartoon classic may find the collection a little too samey. You're not getting the cartoon though. You're getting the
Yeah.
game. What do you mean?
Yeah. And look, if you're into Turtles that deep, and everything after the Eastman and Laird series just a little bit too zany.
That's right.
I don't. It's kind of weird. I don't think it would really matter to anybody, that many people, except for people who played them.
Right.
You know, when they came out.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
'cause I
they're
love the
not
Turtles. There's a couple of those games that aren't very good.
Right, I agree. But they're also not the same game. People looking at that and going, well, it's multiple copies of Turtles in Time. Like, yeah, but it's the NES and the SNES version of that game and the arcade version of that game are all three different games.
There used to be a time where the arcade version was the standard, like the best version of it.
Right.
Everything else was a poor knockoff. I don't know, man. I'm gonna drop my score down. I'm gonna go to 77
Okay.
for the
I see
77.
an 80 and an 86 that have come up in the chat.
Yeah.
We'll threw that 80 down early. The score is 85.
Okay.
Right
okay.
next to it, Faith. I do just want to throw out here, too, for anybody who goes, well, those games, they're still similar. It's like, have you tried Aladdin on the NES and the Genesis? Because those are totally different games. Darkwing Duck. Batman?
Yeah. Elevator action in the arcade was much different than it was on the NES.
Yes. So just, keep that in mind when you're immediately like, well, these games are all different. Well, they're not as different as you might think.
The Super Nintendo, that's why the Super Mario World was weird, because the Mario Brothers in the arcade was not that game.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers is very different. I am the terror that flaps in the night. Yes. Yes, Darkwing Duck.
Jewel has just sent me a deal on Twitter reminding me that an II, as its Grafai, is the name of that Pokemon. An II is an animal that has long fingers with prodigious middle fingers that help them gather food. So
that got big eyes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's probably what it's going to be. I did not know that.
Yes.
Cool to know.
Aye. Okay.
Nightbot can no longer stop you from using caps either. He has been detained.
New orders. New orders.
Let's get into announcements then.
Okay, let's go over them.
Right off the bat, we have Dwarf Fortress. Steam's release is soon. Now,
I hate that.
I do too.
Give me a date. Give me an estimate. How soon is soon?
Dwarf Fortress was supposed to be coming to Steam like 8 years ago. Super Monkey Ball also has an II as a character. That's true. This is supposed to be coming to Steam like forever ago. And very recently, as in yesterday or 2 days ago, sorry, someone tweeted at them going, "Your game is beautiful. When will it be on Steam, please?" And their response was, "Sooner than you might think." So,
No, in the gaming world, coming from publishers and magazines and stuff, soon is not what you think.
yeah.
If I tell you we're gonna be doing this soon, we're probably we'll try to do it in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
At most, maybe a month. But when they say soon, it could be spring 2024. I don't know.
And for anybody who's like, well, I didn't even think Dwarf Fortress was a game people play anymore. People still play all kinds of Dwarf Fortress today. That game is impenetrable to me. Oh, no, you're not pushy at all, Jewel. I appreciate you letting me know. I didn't know. That game is impenetrable to me. And a Steam release would hopefully come with some any kind of tutorial at all that might explain it to me. Because I want to try that game out for a video, but man, I don't know.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. So, eventually. And speaking of eventually, if anybody remembers the rant that I did on Gacha games, I am sorry to tell you that Dragalia Lost is being added to that list because Dragalia Lost dies on November 30th.
Does it now?
Yep. Nintendo is canceling Dragalia Lost on the 30th. And this means that any of the money that you spent in the game for Gacha, those characters will be gone on the 30th.
That's
which
rough.
Sucks. That is a terrible feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. At least get nothing out of it now.
And there are people that are like, well, I'm just going to have to play it to the end then. It's like, at this point, man, you ought to just drop it. Like, don't spend any more money on this, please.
Yeah.
And there are some people going, well, if I just spend more money, maybe they'll decide to keep it. It's like, they are not going to do that.
No.
Do not keep spending money on it.
I can understand a little bit. It's like, look, I've invested this much time. I've got this much time. I'm going to get to the end of it.
Right.
That comes out a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Golly, that's rough.
Yeah,
though.
just, hey, it came out many years ago, and it did not do what they wanted it to do. We had it announced originally that it would be dying this year, back in March, and as of today, you can no longer buy the Diamantium, which is the ability to roll, basically, on the gacha to spin. You cannot buy upgrade packs using Diamantium because that's gone. But if you have Diamantium, you can still spend it. And my understanding is you can still buy skins. So,
yeah.
But at least they said, hey, you can't buy to spend more. No.
When you're going out, give some away.
Well, and that's the thing, right?
Spin.
If the game's dying, just remove the price and just let people roll on the gacha as much as they want.
Yeah. And squeeze every last penny out of it.
But it's just, it's not fun when a game that you've been playing for a long time dies, and especially not when it's a game that you can put money into. I mean, anybody that's ever played an MMO knows when that day comes, it's terrible.
Yeah, and it's aggravating because it just seems like you've wasted people's time.
Yeah.
You've wasted people's money.
Well, at least with an MMO, you could have like a private server and be able to keep playing for some games.
For some games,
but
and
these.
And if the MMO does close down, usually they're not going to bother you on a private. If the MMO's going, they're going to get you to shut down.
Right.
But after they shut down, they usually don't care.
Yeah, just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Well, to bring the mood up a little bit, we got a trailer for Shovel Knight Dig, which is coming out September 23rd, which is very soon.
Yeah, it is.
This is a brand new release that's coming out on Steam, Apple Arcade, and Switch.
Okay.
And I guess the best way I could describe this is, do you remember when Mega Man 2 came out on GBA or Game Boy Color? Original Game Boy?
Not particularly, but yeah, that was a while back.
Right. And then when they did the same thing with Samus later on, where Metroid got Metroid 2 Return to Samus on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
That's what this feels like, except still with the current graphics. It plays differently. You can tell it plays differently, and it has a different feel to it, but it has that feel of, hey, we've moved the game to a handheld console now. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know, because Mega Man 2 for Game Boy was a great game. I don't want to make it sound like I think it wasn't.
Yeah, because of the processing power and the control scheme and everything, it was a different game.
Right.
And that was a lot where it was just this is the Game Boy version of this game. Yeah,
right.
You're talking about.
Yeah, that's what that feels like with this. Also, I'm gonna be the weird contrarian here, I know, and I'm gonna say that I feel like they spent a lot on this trailer. And I don't think this trailer works. This trailer doesn't really tell me anything about the game. This trailer is a lot of Gerard the Completionist, who I love, and Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps, who I don't, just being themselves and playing roles, but just being themselves and acting out a skit. And then they open a box and here's the trailer. And it feels really weird, man. I don't get it. Like, half the trailer just about is Aaron Hansen going, we're going now? Like, now? Like, now? And Gerard the Completionist in a Shovel Knight costume just nodding.
Like an 80s commercial or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels really weird. I just wanted to see the game, man. And, like, no offense to either one of those two. I mean, I like Aaron Hansen, but that doesn't mean that I'm, saying he ruined the trailer or anything. It's just the feel of the trailer feels weird for this game. But the game itself looks cool.
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
Shovel Knight made a big splash.
Yeah.
So, and it got some names on the board. It made a pretty big splash. So I can see them pushing it, but
yeah. Also,
make better commercials.
I think it's really funny that a lot of people in the comments to that are saying, "Hey, in 2010, this would have been the funniest thing on YouTube." But comedy has changed since then, and I feel like that's really harsh, but also bad, kinda, right? Like in 2010, your game trailer, if you paid the money for it, could have like Nyan Cat run across the screen and do the little sting of the music, and people would have been laughing. People would have been dying.
Right.
But nowadays, I don't know. It just feels really weird.
Oh, that's awful.
Also, they didn't say anything about the game, but there is stuff saying that it could be a roguelite, and that's why it looks the way it does. So we'll see. That's not a genre that I love, but I'd give it a shot because I do love Shovel Knight. And then finally, man, this is weird. This is really weird to me. We got PUBG Mobile Cross Dragon Ball coming in 2023.
Okay.
And I can only assume this is skins, right? Kind of like in Fortnite.
Yeah.
But it just feels like Toei went, hey, which we can talk about Toei again now. Feels like Toei went, hey, we already let Fortnite buy the license to use this. Why not PUBG Mobile as well? Next up, I expect to see Goku and Fall Guys.
Like seeing Waddle along, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
honestly that would make more sense to me than this.
I agree. I agree. Also, the fact that he's in Fortnite and is going to be in PUBG, but isn't in Multiverses with Shaggy, is a crime.
Yeah,
because Shaggy goes Ultra Instinct in Multiverses. He does that. So like,
he knows about it.
Yeah.
Where did he learn it?
But some people are saying this is because the new Dragon Ball superhero movie is popping off so much around. It's even playing at our local theaters in Podunk nowhere that I live, which is insane to me. Yeah.
Well,
so maybe that's why.
The last Dragon Ball movie that was here was what the one with the gods.
Yeah, Battle of Gods.
Battle of the Gods. Yeah, and it didn't do too bad.
Right.
So I guess it makes sense. It's just a weird way to advertise.
Are you ready to see videos of Goku and PUBG Mobile firing a Kamehameha and it gets reflected by the pan on somebody's back?
No,
goes up into the sky.
No, now that you put it that way, definitely not. No.
You ready to move on to the news?
Yeah, well, just one thing. I think it's It's like a few years ago, you'd have been throwing this on like commercials, right? Like YouTube commercials,
100%.
And now it's like, no, we're just gonna put this in PUBG, and that's gonna advertise for us.
Yeah, not to ham on that trailer or harsh on that trailer even more for Shovel Knight, but like 10 years ago, that's what it would have been, right? You would have got two big YouTubers, and they would have been talking in a trailer about how Goku's coming to PUBG Mobile,
and this is what I can do with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not the worst crossover we've had,
right?
But it is a weird one.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a weird one.
I agree. What's next? Goku for Smash? So let's get into the news, because
fight right there.
We have maybe the strangest thing I've seen in Kickstarter history, which is the Double Kickstarter.
Okay.
So it's a Kickstarter for Armed Fantasia to the End of the Wilderness, but it's also a Kickstarter for Penny Blood. And these are spiritual sequels being made by the original leads of Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts. And the Kickstarter is for both. They're going to work together to make both of their dream games.
All right. So it's one Kickstarter that's funding two games. Okay.
Matsuzo Machida and Akifumi Kaneko joined forces to create two amazing titles with Western punk fantasy Armed Fantasia and gothic horror Penny Blood. And you can specifically choose your pledge to go to either one or to go to both, but the goal is for both. And my assumption is this goal is not to fund the entire development of the games, because the goal is only $721,606 for both games. My assumption is this goal is to prove that people want both of these so that they can get funded.
Well, if they get the game made with that and get it to a publisher, hopefully the publisher will pick up marketing to push it. So yeah, it's not as much as I would think for two games, but yeah.
Now they have well past their goal already. There's 30 days still to go, and they are at 909,716.
No third game in there.
Right. So just to throw this out there, I'm not talking about this Kickstarter because we're sponsored by them or because I'm trying to get you to go back them. I'm talking about this because we've never seen this before. And as you go down the page, it's both the Kickstarters. It's not one Kickstarter. They're both side by side going vertically down the page. Like taking up half the space of the page at the same time. So you have, it's almost impossible to try and read both at the same time. But it's a weirdly effective way to do it, I think. Also, the art styles of these games are so different. But it's, man, kind of feel like they're on a
Final Fantasy and Madden.
Yeah, kind of, right? It's just a really weird thing. Just if you had told me there would be a time where we would see two games from two different creators getting kickstarted together in one Kickstarter, I'd have said that'll never happen. Kickstarter will never allow that to happen. But here we are.
But in a weird way, that kind of maybe assures that they'll, they both get enough money to make the games, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's strange.
So I do have a little key point here section for both their games. Armed Fantasias. Huh?
Right. You said key point. I said Stunning Strike.
Oh, haha. That's right. Man, my DC's so low. Armed Fantasia is explore a world turned wilderness with a unique Western punk feel. Follow the tale of 6 main characters on their grand drama-packed adventure. Utilize character actions to navigate and explore your surroundings. Explore a gigantic world map to uncover hidden treasures and subquests. Use each character's individual gadget to solve puzzles that block your path. Flex your initiative in highly strategic battles filled to the brim with intense action and tracks upon tracks of modern Western-inspired background music that'll really get your toes tapping.
Okay, I gotta. So Western punk.
Yeah.
Is that steampunk in the Wild West, right?
Yes.
That's what that is, yes?
Yeah.
So you're telling me the movie Wild Wild West came out way too soon.
Well, and the thing is, Wild Wild West is kind of based on Wild Arms, which this is the spiritual sequel to. Because, like, the giant spider thing is a boss in Wild Arms.
Now, hold on. Okay, I see that. But then, because Wild Wild West was originally from, like, this, was it right in the 60s?
Yeah.
1960s, I think. Oh, man. All these things. I don't know. Everything. For a while there was this punk.
Yeah.
Like cyberpunk, steampunk, none of that. It's just, it's been a while since I've heard that, and now it's been quite a bit in this pocket. Western punk.
Western punk.
Okay.
And now I have the key points for Penny Blood, and I want you to tell me which one of these two games sounds like a game you want to back. Because here's the problem with the double Kickstarter, right? If you only back one and the other one fails, which obviously that's not going to happen now, it's fully backed. But when it first came out, that could be really depressing, right?
Yeah.
But Penny Blood says, veterans of their craft team up once again to tell a tale that unfolds in the shadows of the early 1920s. Teleport back in time and explore towns across post-war America, Europe, and Asia. Join an eclectic team of heroes determined to overcome their own personal trauma as they vanquish evil. Embark on an investigation against a world twisted by gothic and cosmic horror. Train your trigger finger with the Psycho Sigil battle system, pairing classic turn-based battles with real-time action, and a medley soundtrack filled with anxiety and jive. Perfect for both facing your demons and running wild with a Charleston.
And jive? Really?
That's what it says, yeah.
All right. I don't know. That's the one then.
Yep.
That's
I mean, that's
the
the
one
one you
I
got
wanna
to choose.
Now, are these games going to come out as a package deal after
I
they're
don't
done?
think so. I think they're going to come out separately. One thing I'm a little concerned about is that the Kickstarter has a bunch of physical stuff, which is almost always a bad thing, right? You don't want to have a bunch of physical stuff because you don't realize how expensive it is to send it to the people that are going to be backing it. You're thinking you're just going to be sending it to people in your local country, and then you find out you have to ship something to Zimbabwe, and it's an additional $200.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this stuff gets a lot more expensive than you think.
Does nobody remember the bags?
We should never forget the bags. But I mean, it's a weird thing. I don't know how to talk about it, man.
I kind of hope they pull it off.
Me too.
You know, and maybe they're helping each other with the coding or something. I don't know. Look, if I don't make my game, then he's not making his.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
So yeah, that's the Double Kickstarter, a thing we've never seen before and hopefully never see again after this because I think it's a terrible business idea. But I like it this time.
They're related if somehow they connect. But, you know, hey, give it a shot. Go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So, one thing that they do mention here that before we move on that I think is really interesting is they specifically state the most important thing to know if you back this Kickstarter, there is nothing that guarantees these games will actually be made. And even if they are made, nothing guarantees that they will be great or even good.
Confidence. Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting thing to put in there. Like,
I think somebody's lawyer tapped them on the shoulder. It's like, hey, when you set this up,
yeah.
be sure to put this in there.
Just because it's a spiritual sequel to Wild Arms doesn't mean it will be Wild Arms. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about a decade of Guild Wars 2. And real quick, I just want to throw out here, right now, for the next 3 weeks as of today, which is August the 30th, 2022, for the next 3 weeks, if you own the Path of Fire expansion, you can get a free mount skin of your choosing. They give you a voucher, and you get to choose a free mount skin of anything before the End of Dragons mounts. It's a lot of mounts. It's like 40 mounts for the skins for the Raptor you get to choose through. But important to mention, you do have to own Path of Fire. When this news first dropped, it didn't seem like you had to, but you do have to own Path of Fire. So if you own Path of Fire and don't have the game downloaded, you should download the game and claim your ticket. If you even think you might want to play this game, I think Path of Fire and Heart of Thorns come together for like $30. That free mount skin is... it's not $30 worth of content, but if you think you might ever want to play this game, that's like $10 of content for free right there. So just something to think about. I got a really cool I completely forgot the word. It's where creature bioluminescence. I got a bioluminescent skin for my Raptor, and you can still dye it to different colors, so it glows in the dark in the different colors of my different characters.
Since you said bioluminescence, scientists recently found snails in Arctic water that run antifreeze through their eyes, and they're bioluminescent. Just off the beaten path there.
Wow. Well,
Yes.
all right then.
They have antifreeze in their eyes.
The more you know.
Yeah.
So every time that they do a big like anniversary for Guild Wars 2, they release a special chart that has a bunch of cool information. And this one is for 10 years, so there's a lot of really cool stuff on here. Over the course of 10 years, Guild Wars 2 contains over 1.3 million registered guilds.
Okay.
The first major boss, the boss of the core game, has been defeated over 1.8 million times.
Holy.
Over 4.5 billion gold coins have entered the economy.
It's still broke.
Still broke. Over 41 million fractals have been cleared. That's over 11,000 clears per day. That's a lot. Since 2015, the second major boss, the boss of Heart of Thorns, has been felled over 1 million times.
Okay.
3.6 billion dynamic events have been completed over the course of the entire game. ArenaNet developers have only died to other players in PvP combat on 44,794 occasions.
Okay.
Players have crafted over 1.8 million legendary weapons.
Wow.
A lot of legendaries. There have been over 13 billion mount rides in Guild Wars 2. Players have revived one another on 1.8 billion occasions, which is helpful because on average, 9 players die every second.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It's a pretty cool chart. I like this.
I'm liking this too. Training dummies have absorbed over 156 trillion damage. The third major boss has been killed over 521,000 times. That's since 2017.
Okay.
Since 2019, 3 major expansions, 35 Living World releases, and the 2 major bosses of the last Living World season have been taken out 516,000 times. It's really interesting to me that in 2 years they've been taken out only 5,000 less more times than that previous boss. It's really interesting to me. And then the End of Dragons boss has been taken out 182,200 times. So still got a ways to go, but that one just came out this year. So
yeah, it'll catch up.
Total, the big bosses have died over 4.1 million times.
That's crazy.
Pretty nuts.
That's cool they can keep up with it, though.
Yeah. I would love to see that kind of chart for FF14.
Yeah. 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 All right. And hey, actually, any MMO that's been for a while, for example,
yeah.
what he said,
I'd love to see that. That'd be really cool.
Just like how many people have put in the time, I'm not worried about the developer, but the people
right
that play and got something out of it.
How often do players die? That is a statistic that I didn't realize I wanted to know, but now want to know for every MMO. What is the number of seconds? Like, how many per second are dying in every MMO? I need to know. I know how many it is in New World, which is 0 because nobody's playing it, but I want to know the rest. It's not true. People are still playing New World.
Hey, you got 2 now.
I thought that was a really cool thing to go through.
Heck yeah.
Next up, Terraria has also crossed a milestone. It is the first game on Steam to still have overwhelming positive reviews, which is 97% positive reviews with over 1 million user reviews.
That's gotta say something.
That is incredible, isn't it? Like,
yeah. Golly, there's only so many reviewers you can pay off.
Oh, right.
I don't know.
So somebody did the math, and here's how it stacks against games with the rest of the most positive reviews. So we have, hey Dart, we have at the bottom of this list of the closest 10 games to Terraria. We have, which Terraria is one of the 10. We have Dota 2, which is 83% positive, and has I don't have the total numbers of. Is there a way to pull up the total number of reviews here? All I see are just the positive and the negatives, and I could do the math together, I guess. We do the math together here. Pull up the calculator. I'm not doing this off the top of my head. We have 1,492,795 positive plus 305,600 negative. So out of 1,798,395 reviews, Dota 2 is at 83%.
Okay.
Then we...
Which that's impressive.
That's very impressive, right? That's very
Yeah.
impressive. This next one, man, this next was incredible to me because it's technically lower than it, but I wanted to save it for second because of how ridiculous it is. I'm gonna do the math first and then give you the percentage.
Okay.
Where do you think PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is at?
On the chart,
Yeah.
8th.
Out of 2,067,397 reviews, it is at 56% positive. And that still makes it the 10th best.
That's okay.
Do people actually use the score? Some people do. Some people for sure do. So next from there, because it did that one and then Dota. Next from there is Grand Theft Auto 5 on Steam.
Oh yeah.
And it has 1,406,425 reviews.
Okay.
And it
Okay.
is at 84%. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
84 is still very solid.
Okay, you get half of Atlanta to ground anything. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Any major city, half of most of the major cities.
Then we have Rust, which has 825,000 reviews. 825,050 reviews. And it is 86% positive.
Well, that's good.
And Rainbow Six Siege is... Thank goodness I have a calculator. I would be losing my mind right now. 1,074,422 reviews, of which it is also 86%.
Okay.
Just pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Then we have Counter-Strike Go.
Really?
Yep. Which has 6,606,611 reviews.
Ooh.
And is 88% positive.
Wow. Okay.
That's a lot of reviews, man.
Heck yeah. The entire
then
Netgear group.
Right? Then we have Team Fortress 2, which is at 888,540 reviews and is at 93% positive.
Okay.
So still very good numbers. Not as many reviews, but very good number-wise. Then we have Left 4 Dead 2. I'm sorry, no, then we have Terraria's later. Gary's Mod, I'm sorry.
Get it straight.
Gary's Mod. These are not in order. I'm having to do the math every single time. Which is at 868,427 reviews and is at 96%. Then we have Left 4 Dead 2, which is at 646,638 reviews and is at 97.46.
Okay.
And then finally we have Terraria, which is at 1,308 reviews and is at 97.86% positive.
Man. And it's the first game. Oh, the first game on Steam.
Yeah.
To be ranked that high with over 1 million views.
Yep.
I don't know what to say. There's not much to that game, is there?
There's a lot more content than people think, and every time the devs say, hey, we're done, we're not going to make any more, this is the final update, they then put out more.
There's 1 million people playing it. You better put out something.
Yeah. Just more content just keeps coming out all the time for Terraria. So
Strange.
you know, it's just cool to see that they're getting some good feedback on it because of how much people like it.
That's a small indie development team, isn't it?
Yeah, Relogic's pretty small. It originally started out with like 15 people, I think, and I think now it might be like 50 people.
Wow. Okay.
But
good for them. Good for them.
Yeah. Next up, we have kind of a crazy story. SNK versus Capcom might be coming back.
when was the last one? Goodness.
It's been a while. Let me see when the last one for sure was. SNK versus Capcom.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that was an arcade machine when I saw it.
It absolutely was originally. The last one was on PS2 and original Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, there was a port of the Neo Geo game in 2021 on the Switch in Japan.
Okay.
But that's
Well,
been
we
it.
start talking about such Japan has that we don't. We'll be here a while.
That's very true. And the way that it's been said that it's coming back is really interesting because SNK's Yaoyuki Oda told VGC that definitely in the future, SNK versus Capcom is something that I think everybody on all sides in both parties are interested in making a reality.
Who's brought out more stuff since?
Capcom, I would say, probably.
That's what I'm thinking.
But
I don't know. SNK's got a few. Snick has got a few IPs coming along the way. I don't know. I'm trying to think who would benefit more.
yeah,
I think it would benefit SNK more.
I think it would for sure. But I also know that Capcom wants to keep doing crossovers. They wanted to do more Marvel vs. Capcom, but Marvel got bought up by Disney, and then that got stopped.
Yeah.
And so I don't see So I don't see any reason why Capcom wouldn't go, hey, yeah, let's do this. But we do only have the word of SNK right now that they want to do it. But
yeah. Fair enough.
he then says in a follow-up question, we haven't really talked in detail with anybody at Capcom about it. It might have come up as a vague comment. However, we have a lot of experience in crossovers with things like Akuma and Geese in Tekken, Terry in Fighting Geeks Lair, Terry in Smash Bros, Biken and Sam Show. But recently we haven't actually done anything with Capcom, even on character collab stuff. So the Evo poster, in our sense, was the first step towards maybe something like that happening in the future.
Okay. Baby steps.
Yep.
Can't read too much into it yet. Baby steps.
I would love this game to exist, but I'm not going to get hype yet. So I don't want to be broken.
Yes.
Man, after that, we have back-to-back some bad news. So hopefully all the good news has kept you hyped up enough that this bad news will not crush your soul. But we have to talk about the CoryxKenshin and Markiplier versus YouTube thing.
Okay.
And wording it like that makes it seem like it's the lawsuit. I do need to bring up the lawsuit. The lawsuit is not from CoryxKenshin or Markiplier, despite all the misinformation going around. The lawsuit is about an entirely different YouTube video that has nothing to do with these two, and instead has to do with a Russian channel, maybe stealing. I'm not going to say they were because I don't know legalities on this in the lawsuit. Maybe stealing a video and removing a watermark. It has nothing to do with this. So everybody telling you that Markiplier is suing YouTube, that is not what's going on right now. Please don't get confused. I had 17 different links that I followed for sources that claimed it was true that all said, well, I just know there's a lawsuit going on with YouTube right now, so I assumed it was that.
There's always a lawsuit going on with YouTube.
But anyway, let me tell you what's happening here. So,
my executive stepped down the other day.
Right. CoryxKenshin does a lot of horror games on YouTube. And man, this guy has had a rough life on YouTube. He is squeaky clean. He does not curse. He doesn't talk about things that would get him demonetized. But ever since the adpocalypse, as we call it, when everything changed with the way ad revenue works out, he will take like 4 month breaks from YouTube, come back, do great, do incredible, be top of the charts for horror gameplay, be just rocking it, making millions of views, and then something will happen. And the next set of videos he put out aren't found by the algorithm, or get their ad revenue limited, or get their ad revenue seized, or get copywritten, and then he'll take a break, and he'll come back, and everything will go great again. And he put out a video the other day that says that YouTube is racist. And I'm not going to argue whether they are or not, because I don't feel like I'm in a very good place to argue that.
Well, hold on. Now he said in his thing that one of the that seems like it has to be one of the answers because
right.
of what he sees going on.
Right.
doesn't make sense.
I don't think that is the answer, but I think it could be a part of the problem. I think the problem is favoritism, which we'll get into. But in his video, he talks about how he and Markiplier both made a video on the game. And on a game. And his video had the same scene in it that Markiplier's video did. But his video had the ad revenue on it limited. Markiplier's did not.
Yeah.
And so he reached out to his YouTube rep, and his YouTube rep took a look at it. And well, first he tried to have it manually reviewed, which is a common thing. The podcast gets ad revenue limited all the time because I said the word die earlier. It's going to happen to this one too. It'll happen. I have it reviewed, and our YouTube rep goes, hey, you're good. You weren't telling anybody to go do the thing to unalive. You're fine. However, when he had it manually reviewed, it didn't do anything. And so then he got in touch with YouTube rep, and his YouTube rep carried it up higher, and they wound up saying, because he brought up Markiplier's video, and they wound up saying, hey, yeah, you're right. The revenue should not be limited on this video. We'll pull that back off. And CoryxKenshin did something that I think most of us would not have done. And he said, yeah, but that doesn't answer the question why it happened. I'm going to send another email.
Yeah.
I'm going to send a longer email that goes, hey, I feel like something's going on here. I feel like there's favoritism being shown. I don't think this is right. I think that, YouTube, you've got to get this figured out. And I realized by talking about this on YouTube, I am a YouTuber. This is my job. Who knows, right? The algorithm could start limiting us too. But they slapped back with, all right, so now your video is, they didn't answer him. They just limited the ad revenue on his video, and then also limited the ad revenue on Markiplier's video. Because clearly that's the answer. So then, this started a new trend, where Markiplier went, okay, obviously this is happening. I'm going to back up CoryxKenshin, and I'm going to see if I can get my video demonetized by doing a video on a porn game. And it wasn't demonetized.
Yeah.
And so then, YouTube, instead of... This is where I put in the docket that they decided to be petty. And I know I'm a YouTuber. This could come back really bad for me. But this is dumb. YouTube, in response, removed his section from the YouTube game Play On stream that they did.
Yeah.
Without telling him they were doing it, without telling anybody they were doing it. They just removed it. And his name was, with the timestamp, was still in the description. They just clipped out his entire segment on that stream.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this has led other YouTubers to do the try to get demonetized challenge, like Jacksepticeye, who put out a video on it today. My assumption is before next week's podcast, there will be many more that are doing the same thing to try and prove that, hey, it's dumb that because you like us, you're letting us get away with stuff that other people aren't, especially since the system is broken and people that aren't doing anything wrong are getting their videos ad rev limited or inaccessible to monetize or blocked worldwide.
For the same. Well, over the years, if you listen to some complaints on YouTube from different YouTubers, you're going to hear from all different viewpoints, but the term double standard comes up quite a bit.
Yep.
So.
And if the point was, hey, both of those videos should have had their ad revenue limited already, that's all they had to say. All they had to do was send an email or call one of them and say, hey, your video should have been limited, and here's why. Here's the thing that was in the video that we didn't think was ad user appropriate, that we thought would hurt AdSense. If you would tell me what the problem is, YouTube, we can avoid it. But the thing is, you don't. You don't tell us what the problem is. You just expect us to figure out vaguely with your guidelines what the problem is.
Well, if they call you for borderline content, that's a judgment call for for them. That is a catch-all.
Right.
They don't have to. They don't have to tell you exactly what it is. if they say, hey, that's borderline content.
Right. And so this is a growing story. Obviously, it's just going to continue to I want to say get worse, I guess, as we go, because people are fed up with it. I mean, you look at the stuff that happened with Sniper Wolf those years ago, where she was able to get away with all kinds of stuff. You look at the YouTuber that was able to have entire episodes of anime with her reacting to them on her channel, that was just doing this to the anime that was and people were watching it so they could watch entire episodes of anime because she wasn't talking, you know.
Yeah.
It's the double standard. And like, I'm not going to sit here and say that, hey, my stuff is the best stuff on YouTube, but it needs to be on the front page. But like, there are absolutely creators that are making incredible things that have been pushed away, and their stuff just doesn't get seen.
Yeah. And it's kind of one of those things where like everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
They play favorites.
The open secret.
Yeah, kind of the open secret thing, and they're gonna showcase some channels, and they're gonna not do others.
Yeah.
And a lot of it may be the algorithm, and I realize that it's be just impossible to watch every video.
Right.
But
surely there are some videos that have to go to people.
Well, I'm sure that some go to people, and don't call me Shirley.
Right.
Yeah. But usually that's gonna be saved for people to get called for it. Hey, I need a manual review of this, like you've had to do.
Right. So it really bothers me that, and I'm not trying to talk bad about our YouTube rep. I still don't know the guy's name, but he's a great guy. But like, it really bothers me that, hey, you've gotten popular enough that we're going to give you somebody to check your stuff. And he does. Our stuff gets fixed, But I know there are channels out there that have YouTube reps that just don't respond. And maybe the problem is then on management to make sure the YouTube reps are doing their jobs. And if YouTube is watching this, our reps doing great. Thank you. But like, I know there are people putting out great content that their stuff gets demonetized for no reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I think YouTube, Twitch, and everything is a great resource. And I think there's an innate dangerous game in it, right?
Yeah.
If we go to like YouTube's garbage, to put it gently. But if we go,
they do pay my bills though.
Yeah.
For now.
If you go with what we have here, we have the freedom of speech, right? And the First Amendment. That's a dangerous thing.
It is.
People are going to say stupid things, and they have to let them have the right to say that.
Yeah.
This isn't even. I don't know. It's not on that level. This is just. I think it's just. Hey, we've got to keep the dollars coming in.
Yeah.
We've got to keep the ads being friendly. We want to make sure that our big people are making content that can be seen, so we can keep getting paid.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. They need to keep getting paid, but I don't know.
Yeah, the rules still have to apply.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not even saying that I think that Markiplier should have had his stuff age restricted, because he shouldn't have. I don't think anything was wrong in that video. And if there was something wrong, what's the problem? Obviously, somebody had to manually review it to go back and add it back to it after that happened. So, like, what is it? Just tell me. Tell me what was wrong with it.
That's not the way the algorithm works.
Yeah, I know.
It marks what it thinks it hears.
Yeah.
Thinks it hears, or thinks it sees, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to go off of.
It is. Ad time.
And the weird thing is, man, the more people you have putting up more videos, the worse the algorithm is going to be.
Yeah.
At spotting things.
I agree. And shorts have just made it even worse.
Yeah. Shorts are not going well for YouTube right now.
Yeah.
They're still getting destroyed by TikTok, and they don't like it.
And TikTok has its own problems too. Like, people just constantly putting out misinformation on there.
Yeah.
Ad started when I said I'm not saying Markiplier. I was just saying I'm not saying Markiplier deserved to have his video age restricted either. I don't think he deserved that at all. I think that just give me a clear and concise way to know what was the problem so I can avoid it next time. If the problem was cursing, well, CoryxKenshin's videos probably shouldn't be getting grabbed.
Well, the cursing thing is weird too because that seems depends on who's saying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's that. Yeah. So it's I don't know. We're getting into some stuff, and it's going to happen when you're talking about this. It
Right.
goes into some of the government protections that YouTube has.
Right.
Section 230, what they're considered as,
Yeah.
what they have a right to do, what they don't have a right to do. And right now, that's getting stuff like that's getting lobbied, in Washington,
Right.
D.C. But hey, we need this, we need this. So I don't know. It seemed the basic of it for me was this streamer over here played the exact same part as this person over here.
Yep.
On their streams making a video game, and they showed the exact same thing.
Right.
And you can't, that should be treat that equally.
I agree. And that's all that both of them wanted. And this is not the first time that Markiplier's done this. I wanna shout this out too. There was a while back where Charlie Penguin Z0 on Moist Critical, as it were, on YouTube, got a copyright strike for a video that he made, and Markiplier did a video on the exact same thing, using real life footage. They both made a video on the exact same thing, and Moist Critical went out on Twitter and was like, "Hey, I got a strike for this. YouTube, what are we doing? Why did I get a strike for this?" And Markiplier didn't, and Markiplier responded with, "Hey, if he got a strike, then I deserve one too, if you really think this is strike worthy." And they struck him. So they both had strikes. It's not the first time that Markiplier's put his neck out there to try and fix this problem. And yet, for some reason, he's the one that always gets the preferential treatment. And he hates it. So,
well, you don't want to be, if you're trying to do an honest channel, you don't want to be called in on that. You don't want to have anything to do with that.
I agree.
You want it to be based on what you're doing.
I agree. And just to clarify, I'm not a big Markiplier fan. I don't watch most of his content. The last video I watched from him was that video that he did on smashing or pashing Pokemon, just because I had to know. And I wish I didn't know now, to be honest with you. But, I just think that, hey, why?
Yeah. Ugh.
Look, I'll tell you what. If we get to 20,000 subs before the end of the year, I'll do a video on Smash or Pass Pokemon. Why not? This final story we have for tonight, before we get into Rungren's Corner, is also really sad, but for a different reason. Ubisoft has not changed their mind on shutting down their servers for older games. And so I have a list for you today. Games that will have their content shut down forever as of the 1st. Watch the Onion one on the... He did some stuff on Corridor Crew not that long ago, I guess, that I watched. But that's just because I watched Corridor Crew.
Yeah.
They lost their channel and got it back. I don't know if you heard about that. They had their channel hacked and they got it back. Good for them. That is a deal. If you can get us to 20,000 by the end of the year, we need about 8,000 more subs because we're just about to hit 1,200. I will make that video. I will smash or pass Pokemon.
How many?
We're about to hit 12K. I was going to announce that right at the end. We're at 11.99.
Wow, right on.
Yep.
Wait, are you 10K or 20K?
12K. 12K. We're 8K away. No, I'm sorry. 800 away to get to 2,000.
Okay.
I'm sorry. My math is terrible tonight because I ruined it on the Steam charts.
I'm so confused.
We were about to hit 1,200 subscribers. We are one away from 1,200 subscribers, and if we can hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, I will make a Smash or Pass Pokemon video, and I will be completely honest in the entire video.
Okay. It does. Neither one of us were really surprised that Ubisoft's pulling something like this.
Right.
So I agree with you on that.
They announced it a while back, and people were hoping they would change their mind because there was a petition and everything, and of course we know petitions change nothing, but here's the games. I got a whole list here because now it's all confirmed what it's going to be and what the changes will be. I will write that down. Anno 2070 on PC, you will be unable to play multiplayer, link your Ubisoft account in-game, or use online features.
Okay.
A game that's built around the multiplayer. Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed 2 on PC and PlayStation 3. You will unable to be retake.
Really. Howdy, turntables.
You will be unable to play multiplayer, link Ubisoft accounts in game, or use online features. Which also means you can't use any of the custom skins that come through Uplay for Assassin's Creed 3.
It's just driving me nuts because it's like
Assassin's
they
Creed 2,
force
sorry.
you to make the count.
Yeah,
They
they
force
sure
you to
did.
make the count to play Ubisoft game.
Sure did. Assassin's Creed 3, the 2012 release, for PC, PlayStation 3, Wii U, and Xbox 360. You will be unable to play multiplayer, link Ubisoft accounts in games, or use online features. And specifically for the PC version, the installation and access to the DLC will be unavailable. So even if you already have it installed, you won't be able to play any of the stuff with George Washington.
Man, this is wrong.
There was a really funny comment that was in the chain for the Reddit thread that I thought was hilarious, which is not funny, but it is, which is people going, you can't just take our content from us. We paid for that. And then the response was Destiny 2 players. Oh, yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood on PC, no more multiplayer, and you won't have access to the DLC. But on PS3 and 360, you just won't have access to multiplayer. You'll still have the DLC.
Okay.
Which is very strange. Liberation HD, Assassin's Creed Liberation HD. All the DLC will be unavailable, and you won't be able to play online. For Revelations on PS3 and 360, you'll be unable to play multiplayer or use the online features, which also means, again, you won't be able to use the free skins and stuff. For Driver San Francisco, the PC version, no online play, and the DLC is unavailable. For PS3 and 360, no online play. For Far Cry 3, the original 2012 release, for PlayStation 3 and 360, you cannot play online. And for PC, you can't play online, and you can't use your DLC.
My gosh.
Ghost Recon Future Soldier for PS3 and 360, the online, of course, is unavailable. And to play the solo campaign, you will have to set your console into offline mode, or it won't let you play solo, single player. For Prince of Persia, The Forgotten Sands, no online multiplayer, no DLC. For Rayman Legends, PS3, Wii U, and 360, no, you won't be able to link the Ubisoft account or use the online features. Silent Hunter 5, DLC's gone, online's gone. Space Junkies on VR, it's a multiplayer only title, so you will be unable to play the game going forward. For Splinter Cell Blacklist, for PC, no multiplayer, and for PS3 and 360, you are unable to link Ubisoft accounts or play online. And then finally for Zombie U, the Wii U game, you won't be able to play online, which means you won't be able to mess around with other people's survivors.
Yeah. There's companies out there holding their server stacks together with duct tape, and Ubisoft's like, you know what, we're closing it down. They're going to lay people off.
Yep.
I guarantee it. People are losing their job because of this. And it's just...
Also, as if all of that wasn't bad enough, we got hey, please be aware that online services in Just Dance 2016, Just Dance 2017, and Just Dance 2018 are unavailable starting the 30th of June 2023. You should subscribe to Just Dance Unlimited instead.
Well, okay. This is crap.
Yeah.
I'm shutting this down and basically ripping a bunch of people off that have paid for DLCs on these games, and some of them, those games.
Yep.
Oh,
I'm not done, by the way. Keep going, but I have more. I have another list with another problem.
Really?
Yeah.
The only silver lining taken out of this is maybe we're getting away from everything having to be online.
Yeah. Maybe. I doubt it.
Always. Yeah.
So they say here, the reason we're closing the online services is closing the online services for some of our older games allows us to focus our resources on delivering great experiences for players who are playing newer or more popular titles. The decision to close the online service for a title is always taken with the consideration of our player base, including the level of interest they still have in the game. You should have loved the game more, then you would have got to keep your online.
Yeah. You didn't pay us enough and get enough people to give us money for us to keep this game going. Which, I mean, that's the business model, right?
Yeah.
It's the business thing, but holy cow.
So, here's the fun part. If you have DLC for these games, there are ways to still play DLC on them. Specifically, units and challenges for these titles have been retired. Rewards can still be unlocked, but you won't be able to receive them in-game. You'll only be able to look at your rewards on the Ubisoft launcher or the Ubisoft website. You won't actually be able to use them in the game. If your game did not transfer when they moved from Uplay to Ubisoft Connect, all rewards are automatically unlocked. You just get them for free, but you can't bring them into the game. So, unlockable content such as maps and skins has been disabled. Can't redeem them anymore. If you previously redeemed unlockable content through the Uplay, it's no longer available. And if you redeem it on console, it may remain available unless you reset your saves.
That's awful.
And then Ubisoft did an incredible thing, and they gave us a list, because apparently they've been doing this whole time and just not making a big deal about it, of all the games that they've removed online for in the past.
Yeah.
You ready for this list?
Oh, I don't know. But go for it. This is our reason why we can do it now.
Yep. That's exactly it.
It's in the end user license agreement that they can take your money and not offer you anything.
Yep. America's Army, Anno 1404, Anno Online, Assassin's Creed 2. It's now added in the list because the first. Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Recollection, Assassin's Creed Revelations, Avatar, Beyond Good and Evil, Blazing Angels 2, Call of War S2, Bound in Blood, Call of War S3, The Cartel, Driver San Francisco, ESPN Sports Connection, Far Cry 2, Far Cry Blood Dragon. How dare you? How dare you? God. Flashback Origins, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2, Hawks 2, Haze, Heroes of Might and Magic 5, Hyperscape, which Hyperscape just came out in 2022, by the way. I Am Alive, Just Dance 3, Just Dance 3 Greatest Hits, Just Dance 3 Kids, Just Dance 4, Just Dance 2014, Just Dance 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, Just Dance Disney Party, Just Dance Disney Party 2, Marvel Avengers Battle for Earth, Might and Magic Clash of Heroes, Might and Magic Duel of Champions, Might and Magic Showdown, Might and Magic Showdown Paint Workshop, Might and Magic X Legacy, Motion Sports Adrenaline, My Fitness Coach Club, Power Up Heroes, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands, of course, because it's now September 1st, it's right around the corner. Pure Football, Rabbids Alive and Kicking, Rabbids Go Home, Rabbids Land, Rabbids Travel in Time, Rainbow Six Raven Shield, Rainbow Six Lockdown, Rainbow Six Vegas, Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Rayman 3, Rayman 3 HD, Rayman Legends, Rayman Origins, Ruse, Scrabble 2007, Scrabble 2009, Settlers 3, Settlers 4, Settlers 6, Rise of an Empire, Settlers 5 still online, Settlers 7, Path to a Kingdom, Settlers Heritage of King, Shape Up, Shaun White Skateboarding 2, Silent Hunter 3.
Skateboarding game is a snowboarder.
A very good question. I'm sorry, also Shaun White Snowboarding. I forgot to mention that one. Silent Hunter 4, U-Boat Mission, Silent Hunter 4, Wolves of the Pacific, Silent Hunter 5, Smurfs 2, Spartacus Legends, Splinter Cell Blacklist, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, Splinter Cell Conviction, Splinter Cell Double Agent, The Adventures of Tintin, Tom Clancy's End War, Tom Clancy's War Chest, Watch Dogs Companion, World in Conflict, that was the mobile companion for Watch Dogs, by the way, that you needed to be able to fly the drone. Your Shape Fitness Evolved, Your Shape Fitness Evolved 2002, and Your Shape Fitness Evolved 2003. Those are all the games they've taken offline and removed content from people over the years.
Yeah.
Yay, Ubisoft.
Yeah, way to go. There's some bragging rights right there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to play those games, DLC, you have until tomorrow to do so.
That's awful.
All right, let's move on.
Oh, man.
Let's throw it over to Rundgren's Corner.
All right. Let's do it. First of all, we got our happy birthday to Ryan Ross. He's a guitarist, and I believe he wrote some lyrics for Panic at the Disco.
Okay.
the guitar to that. I'm sure he's watching. So happy birthday.
Birthday.
You know, we got nothing more better to do, right? Right? Than watch our podcast. Okay, I've got some news today. Where'd it go? Uh-oh. Scroll back up. Get this squared away. Why did you do that? No, give me a second.
It's all right. It happens to the best of us because it happened to me earlier, and I am, in fact, the best of me.
Oh my gosh.
As you yourself have said, there's only one of you. So you might as well be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
That
right.
stuck with me, by the way. That has stuck with me.
Well, good. Glad it did. All right, I have a story about a 4-year-old named Lucas.
Okay.
He's got a degenerative foot disease, and he has
Oh,
painful lesions on the feet. And if they don't get treated, they could lead to infections, sepsis, which can lead to death. It's hard to treat because Lucas is a penguin.
Oh.
So, and this disease called bumblefoot is actually something a lot of penguins apparently have to deal with.
Really?
Yeah, of getting bumblefoot. So, Lucas, who is a penguin at a zoo, in San Diego, it's a San Diego zoo to be exact. Imagine that in San Diego. They got in touch with a company named Therapaw, who actually made shoes for the penguin.
Nice.
Yes.
Time for that sequel to Happy Feet where they have tap dancing shoes.
Yes. They got this penguin's got little boots on. They're made of neoprene and rubber.
Heck yeah.
Which they lets him walk around like normal without putting pressure on the feet, spots where his feet hurt.
Heck yeah.
This little penguin's had kind of a rough life. Okay. He had a spinal infection with a little chick.
Oh no.
Like that. He couldn't really stand properly for the longest time. What's weird is, okay, they have given this penguin acupuncture before, trying to help it.
Wow.
This penguin is getting better medical treatment than I've ever got.
Right. I'm feeling the same way right now. Happy Feet 3. Is it Paddington Penguin because he's got boots on?
Oh, no, that's why. But the senior veterinarian, San Diego Zoo, Dr. Beth Bickens. Beth Bickens. This says the boots are cushioned and Velcro in place. He got straps, yo.
Nice.
So they will help Lucas finally to fully participate in the colony and showcase behaviors that are more typical to a penguin.
Heck yeah.
Climbing the rocks, swimming, nesting, and finding a suitable mate.
I was about to ask the dumbest question before I
that?
realized how dumb it was. I was going to say, how does he swim with those things on? Trey, you idiot. Penguins don't swim with their feet. They swim with their fins. It just would have hurt him to come up out of the water before.
Well, they've dealt with cases, like I said, of bumblefoot that he's got before.
Yeah.
They can help some of them it doesn't work, but this is the first time they decided to get a penguin a pair of kicks.
Yeah. Nice.
So as of right now, the kicks are working great, and Lucas is doing well.
Nice. It's a good thing they didn't get him Jordans, then he'd be flying around everywhere.
I pictured him with like the pumps.
Yeah.
Got to reach down and pump up the shoe. That. But I wish Lucas well.
For sure.
I mean, as well.
Good luck with your recovery, Lucas.
All the uprisings we've been talking about lately, I think, it's good to hear an uplifting story. And maybe the animals and robots will look kindly on us for providing this penguin with shoes.
No, we're helping. Don't destroy us, please.
If you're not caught up, the rabbits have already taken Hawaii. Robots are taking over in Russia. The ants are ordering Gundams in South America. We're ordering robots.
We're in trouble.
Yes.
But at least Lucas is okay.
But at least Lucas has shoes. Yes.
Yeah,
Feel much better about that.
I agree. All right. Well, let's get into plugs then. You got any plugs this week, Rundgren?
I haven't had time to catch up on go listen to my music. I'm gonna plug my my music. Chapter
Heck yeah.
Chapter 7 in Battle Alliance, right? Battle Alliance, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
nice. If you don't know how to get to Rundgren's music, there is a link. And
Oh,
I'll
thank
post
you.
that link in the YouTube side of the chat as well. Anybody that wants
Yes.
to see that.
Appreciate that. We appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah.
Y'all are awesome.
And I want to I want to plug kind of an interesting thing, which is there's a channel that I watch, and I've mentioned it before. They're called RDC World 1. It's a bunch of different guys talking about anime. And they do this series called Back and Forth, which is where they have and they have a podcast with it and everything. They put out the episodes very irregularly, but it's just whenever they have time because they're pretty long episodes. But it's basically just like, hey, here's 7 people in a room, and we're all discussing what's the best of this. So they have themed episodes, and then sometimes they do ones that are like, would you rather? And I'm going to spoil the first would you rather here because I want to ask you, would you rather? I'm going to link to it as well here in the chat. But I'm going to ask you which one you would rather of the two. Would you rather have to fight Ed Sheeran every 8 hours or fight Vin Diesel for 10 seconds every single day?
Vin Diesel just 10 seconds?
Just 10 seconds.
That's all I'm going with, I don't know. I think I honestly, I know it's a weird answer. I'm thinking Vin Diesel for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Because if once Ed Sheeran knocks me out,
yeah, you have to live with that. You have to live with that the rest of your life.
I don't know. I agree. Pull out this little guitar and then it went dark.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I think Vin Diesel's the right choice.
In 10 seconds. Hey, what did you expect?
Right.
It's Vin Diesel.
And I get every day to learn how he fights. I only have to make it 10 seconds. If I get one punch on Vin Diesel, I'm set. It doesn't matter how many days after that he beats me up. I'm set.
Yes.
Plus, eventually, if you have Vin Diesel in your life long enough, you become family and he'll stop fighting you. And there you go. Problem solved.
That's the second question I like that I've heard being actually going around the internet this week. The other one was, would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 10 duck-sized horses? And I'm like, man, if you know anything about ducks,
right,
you don't want a horse-sized duck around.
No, I'm fighting those little horses, man. Trees, Ultra Instinct. Yes. No, it's a really fun channel, and hopefully people check it out. But no, 100%, man. Those little duck-sized horses. What are they gonna do?
Yeah, man, bite my ankles. It's gonna hurt. I understand.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little bites you got to deal with, and some kicks. You're gonna have some bruises. Your knees down.
That duck.
Ducks are wrong.
Yes,
they are rude. I am not going into. We would get kicked off the stream if I start talking about the true nature of ducks.
Man, I don't want to make people feel like I'm violent against animals, but I had a goose attack me once because we have geese now. Not because we wanted geese, but because they just showed up and they won't leave. But the goose bit me once on my knee and didn't want to let go. And I had to swing out with my leg to kick him to make him let go. And when I did, he flew backwards. And if he had flown back towards me, I would never have gone outside again in my life. That's
man.
Birds are scary, man. And I love birds, but birds are scary.
Birds are very scary.
Don't get me wrong, a horse-sized horse can kill you.
Yeah.
But a horse-sized duck will kill you.
Yes, it will.
So, no.
Yes.
I know we're at the end of the podcast, but that reminds me, have you seen that video of that guy that slaps a hippo and the hippo backs up?
No.
It is the only time I've ever seen a hippo retract. But this hippo roars at this guy and he just reacts, right? Slaps it on the nose and the hippo pulls back. And if I was that guy, I'm running immediately. Like, I have won a second of life.
I'm going to strut off very quickly. I'm going to be strutting.
Yeah.
Quick.
I've seen the guy that hits the kangaroo, and the kangaroo looks offended and then punches him so hard he falls over. So, like, I just never see somebody hit a hippo, and the hippo just like, why'd you do that? Let me eat you.
Man, hippos, don't mess with hippos, man.
Hippos will get you.
Hippos are deadly.
Mm-hmm. Well, just a reminder, we have streams that go up not every couple days anymore. Now it's 4 days a week, every 4 days a week. So Monday, MMO Mondays, where we play Lotro. Tuesdays, the regular night podcast. Then Thursdays, the D&D podcast. And then Fridays, we have our wonderful build paint streams. This week we'll be painting. We'll be painting more intercessors for 40K for the intercessor kill team.
Yeah.
And I got a brand new table to fill those on. I'm really excited for that. So, very excited.
Nice.
And, we'll be talking monsters Thursday. And I do have a teaser for you for the first monster we're going to be covering. It's the Kirin.
Kirin?
Kirin. Some people just say Kirin. It's It's
a Karen.
Yeah.
It's
a Karen.
It just
so be careful. I'm just gonna want to see your manager.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna have a good time there. So please come check that out if you're interested. We have a good time in all the different shows that we do, honestly. So hopefully you enjoy them too. And if YouTube never lets us make money on this platform again, we have a Patreon, we have donations on, we have super chats, all that fun stuff. Thanks.
Right on.
With all that said, though, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungan.
And we've been the Full Spectrum Podcast. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. Life has to offer.